code that they have written will only repay the debt if it has gone to production.
In that sense, it is not debt as
I kind of say, right? If the project fails, hang the architect. So maybe it's an architectural debt.
what was expected to be delivered, it is not debt.
Okay, so that's an interesting point. There's a difference between architectural debt and technical debt.
Problem in the way they are mapping the data to their respective customers. Now it's a debt
of non-information, of course, but then in this case, it becomes a clear case of a technical debt getting in.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I think it's there.
Thanks all for joining the Saturday Architecture episode. We are getting a little more deeper into the technical debt. What we're trying to do in this episode is focus on technical debt and how it affects the different pillars of architecture as defined by IASA. So, Sudarshan, the question I have, let's take some project that you had recently done, and how did you see technical debt manifesting, and what all pillars did it actually impact? And if you had to give a rating between high, medium, and low, what would be the three pillars? How did you see this technical debt manifest?
Hi, this is Sudarshan. So in my project, so we have been trying to build a feature for the past, let's say, 3 to 4 sprints based on a request from the customer, but it did not really come through as a statement of work for us. So it was just an one-off request, and then we started building it. And now we are in a state where, like, say, 60% of that software is built, but it is not really going to make it into production any soon. So it's like we have put in a significant amount of effort in order to get out a feature, in order to help the sales team go on pitch and then showcase, do a demo of the feature. Since it has not formally gone through this exercise of business technology strategies, valuation and stuff like that, and no other teams got involved, like the experience team, the infrastructure team, the architects team. Since no one else got involved, it is like the engineers' effort that is spent is huge now. This product or this piece of code that we have written is not going to go into a production has become like a technical debt for this product. And from a rating perspective, I would say high impact on the design versus a medium impact or medium to high on the business as well, plus a low impact on the infrastructure side, the IT environment side of it. Our sprints are 2 weeks, 10 days sprints.
That's roughly around 2 months of time and effort has been gone in.
Sure. One doubt I have, how it is exactly affecting the design pillar, because yes, without having the confirmed requirement from the client, we started developing the feature and the features have been built, but apparently it has not been used by anybody. So it is an implemented code, an implemented product, but it is not adding any value to the ultimate business user. So just wanted to understand how it is exactly affecting the design pillar here in IASA.
It is not really affecting, but the debt the design has accrued is more. So with all the 5 pillars, which pillars are accrued the most amount of debt? That's the design. So 60% of the entire budget has been spent only on the design and code. In a typical situation, it will be like what, 25 to 30% is what an average. So if I compare it with that, since we have not involved any of the infrastructure piece, and now if they come back and ask me like, okay, I need 40% more of your budget, the product is gone. So I cannot make any more changes. So the amount of debt that the technical team or the engineering team has taken up till now is huge here. That's how I would rate a high technical debt from a design team's perspective.
A code, okay. I think, Balaji, I think it's kind of interesting. The code that they have written will only repay the debt if it has gone to production. Now, all the code that they have done is not gone to production. So it is the engineer's responsibility that he wrote code, but that didn't go to production. Which means that design pillar. Why do you write code which is not going to production? So it is the major responsibility is with the design pillar.
Yeah.
I have a sort of a perspective here, which you over-engineered something. It's like you build something which is not required. In that sense, it is not debt as, in a way, it is money wasted, or you can, finally, it is not getting used. So it is definitely, I would not consider it as a debt in design. I would consider it as just a mistake made, which is no other actual impact on the quality of the product or design of, if it is not impacting any other components, I would say it is not really debt in that sense.
Interesting, but Deepak, it's like you've taken money from the business, right? But that's like taking a loan, but you haven't repaid it.
No. That is different. That is different. It is like you
Okay.
have overcharged for a product,
Oh, okay. Okay.
which is different from debt. You charged for a feature which you never delivered, or you never charged for a feature, which is that
Mm-hmm.
you over engineered and built something, which is not really debt in that sense. Is that a car was required to be delivered with 4 wheels, but you delivered it with 5 wheels. The customer didn't ask for the fifth wheel. You took the fifth wheel back. Whose fault is it? It is not debt. It is not mistake. If you remove that fifth wheel, nothing happens. So it's not really debt in that. Whatever other requirement gathering failure or any other thing, but it is definitely not debt or technical debt in that respect.
So what you're telling is it should have been at a design stage. How to get it to production, a checkpoint should have got created. Telling that,
No,
okay.
I think no. I'm saying that we don't need to consider it as technical debt. It's a mistake. We need to fix it. We need to find better ways to gather requirement and make sure that it does not happen again, and all those good things we need to do. But we don't have to pay anybody for it. We already paid for it. There is no action to be taken. See, when we want
Okay.
to when we want to look at technical debt, we want to say, do we want to do anything about it, right? Except for fixing our organizational or procedural things, there is no other action on the from the project perspective, right? There may be a debt for improving organizational informational gathering procedure and requirement gathering procedure and other things which is outside the project, right? But for the project itself, it is a non-event in that sense. Is okay, sorry, money got wasted, we have to fix it.
Okay, so interestingly, we could, maybe I would have to put it like the favorite thing which I kind of say, right? If the project fails, hang the architect. So maybe it's an architectural debt.
It is an architectural debt which is
But
for the organization. I mean, it is nothing to do as such with the output of the quality or output of the what the customer is expecting. Right? So I'm looking at from outside in perspective. This is
that's a good point. But I think that kind of leads me to this point, right? We say anything, a solution doesn't work, an architect is responsible. So I think probably architect's debt is one net which is a catch-all for anything.
It's like personal improvement, right? Like
Yeah.
personal improvement. I need to improve myself so that I don't do this thing again. That's all. But if you look at it purely from what was expected to be delivered, it is not that.
Okay, so that's an interesting point. There's a difference between architectural debt and technical debt. Okay. Srini, you had experience of technical debt manifesting for yourself.
Yes, Kumaran. The client that we are working for, which deals with public data, publicly available data within for their customers. Whole product that we developed over a period of time starts with how we map that public data to the relevant customers.
Okay.
And as in that aspect, so the product has been developed, went into production. It's been a long time, and now people realize that there is fundamentally a problem in the way they are mapping the data to their respective customers. Now it's a debt because we need to fix that problem, and it's a debt. So how is that manifested, and where to which pillars that we can map that debt to? Is obviously the primary thing is design. And since we fundamentally did not understand how the whole public data is, probably, and then we also have to map that to the BTS pillar, because this product has been developed, cost has been incurred, and now we have to fix that. there is an additional cost associated with it, and who pays for that is still a question, right?
Yeah.
The third part is obviously human dynamics, because we not apart from that information, I think we can still do better in that aspect across. It's not just vendor or client, but across whole team. This has to be improved. So can have more discussions, understand that better, think over it more. So I can map these three pillars. This particular picture.
So I think, Deepak, in this case, right, because it's got to do with how the information was designed, it could be the table structure, how it was shown. It's a more clearer case of it falling under technical debt, because the technical design wasn't done properly due to availability of non-information, of course. But then in this case, it becomes a clear case of a technical debt getting involved.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I think it's definitely technical debt, although it is the causes are outside of the discussion, but it is definitely technical debt because something which was expected to happen did not happen, and there is definite impact on what the customer is uh, going to get out of the product, and this is clear. Um, Rather than the previous case, this is much more clearer that this is technical debt which is impacting the customer directly, and there is something which the architect and the development team needs to do much better.
Awesome. Thanks all for joining the call. Thanks